What's up everybody, East Philly here with another Firearms Friday video. Today I just wanted to kind of go over some of the rifle ammo and magazines that I have. You can see here I have a few different types of magazines in terms of manufacturers. Not really think any different in terms of round count. 30 round magazines are the most abundant and usually the cheapest. I have a few 10 round magazines from Magpul. I also have a 40 round magazine from Magpul. Other than that, I haven't really gotten anything too different. Over here we have standard GI mag from OK Industries. We have the ETS magazines with built-in coupler. So what that does, it makes it so you have two magazines always connected. I have hex mags, P mags, Lancer mags, and Troy battle mags. Now I've used one of every type or one of every manufacturer when I went to the range to test out my AR when I shot that for the first time, and I had no problems with any of them. The only problems I had was maybe a failure to extract. I don't believe it was from the magazine. I think it was probably from the ammo that I might have had, or from me flinching, or some other type of problem. It's also because I had never shot the gun before, so everything still had to break in. But you can see a couple differences in all of these. One, the standard GI mags are made of some type of metal, usually steel is normal. They don't have an anti-tilt follower, which is bad, because if something gets in there, it could wind up messing everything up. And what that is, I don't know if you can really see it, if you push down on the front, it tilts all the way forward and gets caught up. And it's very hard to fix in a bad situation. What a lot of places go to are actually Magpul's magazines. They have underneath, they have a bar, so when you push down on the front, the whole thing moves straight down. That's anti-tilt. Some of them have sort of anti-tilt. You see this one kind of goes down in the front, but it's usually pretty good. See if any of them are different. This one looks a bit different, but I believe that's the same thing. So most will all be pretty good. You can see this one pushes down even a bit further in the front and won't actually push the whole thing down like the other unless you go more toward the middle. So that's just some differences in the magazines. Usually you hear people talk about these two the most in terms of polymer magazines. Magpul has the most affordable magazines by far in terms of quality, amount, and features. Magpul is huge in the firearms industry, especially for rifles, and are just coming out with some pistol magazines as well. I have a few P-mags for my Glock, and these are ones you usually see people stocking up because you get the best deals. Lancers have great deals as well, and you might think, oh, they're both plastic. Well, Lancers actually have these metal feed lips on the top to help prevent break. So if the thing falls straight down, this is less likely to break than this, though both are very strong, both are battle tested, and both are just great magazines. A lot of people still just go straight for the standard GI mag. They'll replace the follower for an anti-tilt follower. The only problems people have is when they fall. Since it's a thinner metal than this and it's not a flexible polymer, if you drop it here, the feed lips could actually bend. And I don't know if you can see that, but this feed lip is actually a little shorter than that one. And it's not the same as over here. I don't know if it's bent or if it was made that way because of that on the side. But it's just something to think about when you're looking at buying magazines. One of my favorite that I got was the Hex Mag, more because of the design, and because Hex Mag actually has this grip tape you can buy that's already pre-cut to these hexagonal shapes, and you can do different designs on them. I just kind of like that. ETS has the clear magazines with the built-in couplers if you want that. Lancer also makes clear magazines. So enough about those. That's just a brief overview of the magazines that I have. They've all worked fine, and I don't think I would have any problem with using any of them. But there's no point in having a magazine if you don't have the ammo to put in it. So I have a variety of 223, 5.56, and different types of ammo to go with it. The standard is here, and it's usually the cheapest, is 223. The standard AR-15 rifle round, full metal jacket. This is PMC bronze. It is brass cartridge with a full metal jacket bullet. It is chambered in 223 Remington. Not chambered, but it's 223 Remington. 223 and 5.56 are the same bullet in terms of the actual projectile. The casing is slightly different, but they both fire out of any 223 wild barrel as well as any 5.56 barrel. If you have a 223 specific barrel, only 223 can be fired. You can also get the full metal jacket in 5.56, but there's really not that much difference between full metal jacket practice rounds in 223 and 5.56. It's all going to depend on what you've shot before and what you like the most, as well as what your gun is good with. Next up, we have some IMI M855 62 grain in 5.56. This is a 5.56 compared to the 223, and this is a green tip. What the green tip does, it signifies M855 steel penetrator. What that does is inside, rather than a brass coating around a lead core, you have a brass coating with lead in it, but it also has a piece of steel in it. And what's that for is going through obstacles. So if the target is behind a barrier, behind a piece of wood, behind some metal, this has a better chance of penetrating that barrier and hitting the target. And here's just a little thing you can see. You can't really see the difference between the 223 and 5.56 unless you get real close, which I don't think I'll be able to do with this camera. But the necking on this is a little bit longer on the 5.56 than the 223. You can see it kind of slants up at a different angle. But like I said, it's not too big a difference unless the barrel you have really specifies having 223. Next up, we have a tracer round. This is Federal XM856 tracer. So this has an orange tip on it. What that does, it has a little bit of incendiary in it, so when you shoot it, you can actually see the projectile flying through the air. And that gives you a better idea of where your bullets are actually going, especially at nighttime when you can't see the target as well, or you're doing suppressive fire. It kind of gives everybody an idea of where you're shooting at, so they have an idea of where they should be shooting at. Really has no significance in the civilian world. I just saw it for a good sale and thought I'd buy a box. I only had this one box. I don't really see myself ever shooting it unless I go to a range that allows it, and it's a nighttime shoot and it's a bunch of people that I know and we're just having some fun just to see kind of how it works. It's nothing too special to be using, but it's nice to have just something. Next up is the IMI Razor Core. This is also 5.56, 69 grain. You'll see this says HPBT match. That means it's hollow point, boat tail match. When you take this, you can see maybe that there's a little hole in the top, and what that is called the hollow point. What that does, it helps with aerodynamics. So when you're shooting for very tight groups at a very small target, this has a better chance of multiple rounds hitting in the same exact location or very close to each other. It helps a bit with the aerodynamics. It's sort of like a hollow point bullet where when it hits the target it will expand better so that it doesn't penetrate as much, but it also has a bit more stopping force. This is a standard 5.56. I actually have two different grains of this. I have 69 grain and 77 grain. Grains matter with your barrel twist and also with how far you're shooting and what type of shooting you're doing. With my guns, which are all 1 8 barrel twist, I decided the 69 grain was the best to go for. But I really won't know until I actually get a chance to get out to the range with it and shoot it at some paper targets and see how well it's doing. That's an overview of the ammo that I actually have and the magazines that I am using. If you have any questions about any of this, feel free to let me know, and I'll give you some links that you can do some research of your own if you want to. And really, that's it. I'm not huge on reloading or anything. I have some friends who reload, who when I get some brass, I'm going to give it to them and see what we can do with it. But I figure I just give a little overview of the stuff I have. Like I said, these have all worked fine. These actually have the dust covers on, so you can see there's some ammo in there. That's the PMC. Like I said, if you have any questions, leave a comment. If you liked the video, give it a like. If you disliked it, it's okay, give it a dislike. If you do dislike it, let me know in the comments why you didn't like it. If you don't feel comfortable leaving a comment on a video you disliked, you can message me directly through the YouTube Messenger area and let me know there. I won't feel offended. Anything you do to help this channel grow is very appreciated. So if you have any comments or concerns, let me know and we'll work on it together to make this a better channel. If you have any information you'd like to give me about magazines, if you'd like to see magazines you want me to try, I'm up for trying all different types of magazines, doing some tests on them. I'm up for trying different types of ammo as long as the cost is right. I usually won't go for anything that's over 75 cents a round, at least for one box. And if I use it and it works really well, I'll get more of it. So that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching Firearms Friday. I'll see you all later.